Richard Nixon was now president, and Ronald Reagan was governor of California. Together, they would lead a backlash against rebellious students and the anti-war movement. As 1969 dawned, the most sustained student demonstrations of the decade were already underway, not at an elite school, but at a state college, and not over the war, but over identity. The origins of college and university ethnic studies departments nationwide were forged in the heat of a 134-day strike at San Francisco State College. Governor Reagan sent his executive assistant, Ed Meese, to San Francisco to support the college's tough new president, S.I. Hayakawa.
One of my jobs was to make sure that President Hayakawa was safe because there was some thought that they might try to storm his office. So we had the necessary police and state resources there to protect him. Dissident forces decided that they would stage a major demonstration.
The San Francisco Police Department. The persons demonstrating here are unlawfully assembled.
President Hayakawa personally got on top of the truck and pulled out the wires and silenced the sound truck.
S.I. Hayakawa, in essence, became sort of a hitman for Ronald Reagan.
The striking students ultimately won the Black Studies department, but in the process, 700 were arrested. College President S.I. Hayakawa went on to become a United States Senator. Governor Reagan found the conflict a useful trial run for his next challenge in nearby Berkeley, where anti-war students and counterculture youth joined forces to claim some undeveloped university land as their own.
The great hope implicit in the People's Park is that in our leisure time, so to speak, we will make the social revolution.
The spirit which built the People's Park is stronger than gas and clubs. It is even stronger than universities.
I want to inform you that this property is private. It is posted. You are now trespassing.
And so the university set out to move the people who were lounging around on the property off of the property and put up fences so that they could begin the construction. Leftist organizers, some students, some non-students, decided that they would use that as the pretext for a demonstration and a protest. They tried to kill police officers. They hurled spikes from the top of buildings on the police.
Governor Reagan, expressing the fury that many officials felt at youthful defiance, stated, "If it takes a bloodbath, let's get it over with. No more appeasement." Alameda County sheriffs shot over 50 protesters with buckshot. One protester died.
What happened to James Rector was the result of his being involved in illegal activity.
Reagan called in the National Guard, which quelled the disturbance. They occupied Berkeley for a month, leaving the Bay Area activist community brokenhearted and demoralized. That summer, one dream was realized and another vanquished. On July 20th, the space program, founded by President John Kennedy, triumphed with a walk on the moon. The day before, JFK's only surviving brother, Senator Ted Kennedy, saved his own life after a car accident, but his presidential promise died along with his drowned companion.
But I really didn't become totally dispirited until Ted Kennedy went off the bridge at Chappaquiddick. Ted has been a terrific senator, whatever else you might say for him. He's been a terrific senator. And he was the last person who scared Nixon. And once Ted went off that bridge, Nixon veered to the right. And that was that, and I knew it. And for me, that was when the 60s ended.
For America's counterculture, the 60s were about to peak on a farm in upstate New York.
There's people as far as the eye can see in every direction, under every tree, under every leaf, on every road. And I remember being in this helicopter and the door was open and this big cop looked down and said, "There's a lot of hippies down there." I'm going, "Well, yeah." And the cop next to him going, "Yeah." And the first cop said, "I bet they're doing lots of illegal stuff." And the next one said, "Yeah." And the first one said, "I'm not going in there or nothing, no." And I suddenly realized, man, this was gonna be a party. This was gonna be fun.
Despite overcrowding and rain, the party lasted for 3 days. MC Wavy Gravy announced to a sea of bodies and mud that festival organizers would be serving breakfast in bed for 400,000.
Woodstock is distinguishable not only because it was the largest pop festival of its time, but it was also, in effect, the last.
Four months later, a festival promoted as Woodstock West turned into anti-Woodstock. The Rolling Stones headlined a concert at Altamont, east of San Francisco, where the counterculture had so famously blossomed. The Altamont concert ended in violence and disarray. Something seemed to have gone terribly wrong.
Gangsters moved in, kilos of weed got exchanged for bricks, people were shot, there were murders, there was this and that. The whole tenor of things got uglier and harder and meaner.
Marred by violence and drug abuse, Altamont sealed the fate of large-scale free concerts. The expansive spirit of the Love Generation would never be quite the same again.
A lot of us fell right off the edge, and I was one of them, and a lot of us were really hurt by hard drugs.
The counterculture paid a price for its excesses. In the next few years, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, and Jim Morrison would be dead, all from drug abuse. Many former urban dwellers sought to build a new life in the country. Communal living and homegrown food would be the antidote to the excesses of the city.
And there came a movement to become land-based, to get below the skin of asphalt, as somebody called it.
It's where I live here now in Mendocino County. Many, many people came here in the 60s in full retreat from the urban environment, deciding that if we're going to create a new society, we just have to forget their society and go start one of our own.